Welcome to Chapter 9, Imports, Gains from Trade, and Welfare Loss from Tariffs. Chapter 9 does not have any lecture problems associated with it for ones that I talk through with the PowerPoint because it's very straightforward. Just go over those old lecture problems that I have posted in Blackboard as well as the old exams and you should be great, golden. I thought I would talk through the most challenging part of Chapter 9, which is tariffs. Okay, so in Chapter 9, basically we either import or export if the world price is below the domestic price before the economy is opened up to trade, then you're going to import this good. So in this case, without trade, the price would be $50. With trade, it's $25. And so you don't have a comparative advantage in the production of the good. Once trade is opened up, the world price reigns, and this price is no longer, you shouldn't do anything with it. So the world price is 25. You take it over to the supply curve. That's how much is domestically produced. And then you take this world price over to the demand curve. This is how much total is consumed. And so the difference between what is domestically produced, which is 20, and what is consumed in total 40 will be imports. So imports will be 40 minus 20 or 20. And then the gains from trade, well, first of all, we want to do consumer surplus with trade. Consumer surplus is the area above the price. This is the world price, below the demand curve, all the way out to the amount that's traded. So it's this huge, big triangle right there. So consumer surplus is 1/2, 40, 100 minus 25, that's the height, 1,500. And then producer surplus with trade, it's equal to the area below the price, above the supply curve, all the way out to the amount that's produced. So in this case, producer surplus is 1/2. The height is 25, the base is 20, or vice versa, 250. And then this red triangle right here is what the economy gains from trade being allowed into this economy. And so the area of this triangle, the gains from trade, is 1/2 50 minus 25, which is the height. And then the base is the amount of the imports, 40 minus 20, or 20. The gains from trade are 250. So that's how much we are as an economy better off because trade came into this economy. But we can see that there are winners and losers. The winner are consumers. Consumer surplus before is this triangle right here. Consumer surplus after is this huge blue triangle. So consumers win, but we can see producers lose. Producers used to have this triangle right here. Now they only have this little bitty triangle right there, so producers are losing in this case. And so producers, because they're losing, might want to restrict the amount of trade or the amount of imports that are coming into this country. So what happens is a tariff is imposed. Let's say a tariff of $5 per unit is levied on imported goods. And so that essentially raises the world price from what it had been, 25 plus whatever the tariff is. So it just increases this price by this amount. And so 25 plus 5 is 30. The new world price, or PW dash, is here. And then we need to figure out what happens. Wherever it hits the supply curve, that's the amount that's produced domestically. Wherever it hits the demand curve, that's how much in total is consumed domestically. And then the difference between these two are imports. Now let's look at what's happening with this good. We can see producer surplus with the tariff is this green triangle here. So 1/2. The base of this triangle is 22. The height is 30. And so it's 330. So producers are better off because before they had 250 of producer surplus. Now they have 330. Consumers, consumer surplus with the tariff is the area above the price, below the demand curve, all the way out to the amount that's traded. And so if you compute that, it's 1/2 100 minus 30 times 38, or 1330. So we can see consumers are worse off because their consumer surplus before was 1,500. Now it's 1330. And then the economy also benefits because there's government revenue. And so for each unit imported, we can see that the amount that's imported is 38 minus 22, that's the base of this. The height of this is equal to 5. So the government revenue associated with this tariff is $80. That's also a benefit to the economy. But the economy loses overall because these two triangles are not realized. So the deadweight loss with tariff, you can either do the total surplus before tariff with trade, total surplus uh, with tariff with trade, or you just, what typically is easier is just to figure out the area of these two triangles. So that's why I brought this up, because it's usually just one triangle, but now we have this triangle plus this triangle, which is the deadweight loss. And you can see these are no longer traded. Basically what's happening with this tariff is that producers, because the price is artificially inflated by that amount of the tariff, are producing too much here. So that's this portion of the deadweight loss. And then this portion of the deadweight loss is due to, because the price is greater, consumers are consuming less. And so those are the two portions. So you can see I calculated this portion plus this portion. So the deadweight loss associated with this tariff is $10.